And he's loose again. Edwards off the running. Puts the pass down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now. And they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes for the three. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. I'm going to do a short episode tonight, just kind of hammering on more of what's going on with the Michigan coaching search. It's Trevor and myself tonight, and we're glad to have you, checking it out. Again, let us know what you think is, who's Michigan going to hire. But Trevor, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the award show, the games from this weekend, and then maybe do a little game at the end here. We'll see what happens with it. So, Trev, first up, Kalen DeBoer announces today, hey, I am committed to the University of Alabama. I don't have interest in coaching anywhere else. He says he hasn't talked to anybody. Well, that might be true.
Well, how can you be interested in a job that hasn't been talked about yet?
Exactly. So
I'm just saying
everything behind the scenes is agents do this conversation. Dillingham said the same thing. Well, I haven't talked to anybody.
Yeah.
Well, AP has reported it. Others have reported it. Michigan's people have contacted them.
I actually just read a report. I literally just read a report from a Kansas City news station that the agency that Michigan is going through to contact the agents and everything like that to start the discussions have been in contact with Dillingham's agents and Drinkwitz agents.
Drinkwitz is another one, that they mentioned today.
Yep.
But DeBoer simply, there has been contact in between
there
parties.
has been.
It just maybe not him directly, but his parties are. It's coach speak. A lot of it is, and people that say otherwise.
They're starting around, and no one has absolutely said that. That's the thing is that Brenden. There's we already know. No one has said I have no interest in coaching Michigan.
Yep. His was the closest to saying I have no interest but the other ones disagree. As for DeBoer, I think the window's closed there. I really do.
Yeah.
When guys like Josh Payton have said it, Chris Lowe is another one that has said, hey, he's quoting and talking to people on Twitter, and these are well-trusted SEC sources. Hey, it's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Not that it's not completely done, but it's pretty much this. I think the ship has sailed. And I think Michigan's now moving on to, other options. And Trev, that leads us on to, where does Michigan go next? Obviously, we mentioned Dillingham. We've talked about him on the last show.
Yep.
I think that'd be a fantastic hire. I know he loves ASU. That's his alma mater. He's had an interview recently where he's like, it'd be cool, but I love this place. And then he came to tears for 30 seconds of just silence, and everybody's staring at him like, what's going on? And then there's other ones still out there that are floating around that really the big names that people are weighing are Jed Fish still, Jess Minter as well. And then, like you mentioned, Drinkwitz just came up on the radar today. So your agreement, DeBoer's done. You think Dilly's done too, right?
I want to say yes, just because you go into tears like that. That just means that if his agent is talking to Michigan, it's just got his emotions all tied up in it. He's all tied up in it because he's happy. He was already happy where he was, but he knows that he can't even keep a guy like Levitt on the roster.
Yeah,
going to a place that he could keep a guy like that. Not saying that he should keep a guy like Levitt as the quarterback, but I'm just saying. It's probably I can only imagine if the roles were reversed, if any one of us were coaching an alma mater and our family all lived on the same fucking street and a big time program comes a call in, I wish I could put myself in his shoes and feel something for him, but I don't because he's already making millions. And then if he takes the coaching job, he's going to make multi-millions of dollars.
It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it really is. You do great things at a non-traditional power, then you're going to have great things happen to you. It's just a matter of if you want it or not.
Yeah.
And if you don't want it, say it. Say, I'm happy where I'm at. I have no interest in coaching Michigan. Period.
And that's
done, and it's over.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I am. I feel like that interview left open plenty of room for. There's clearly emotion there. He clearly loves the spot.
Yeah,
but Michigan is a top 10 job in college football. There's no doubt about it, no matter what is going on with the athletic director. And I get that side of people saying it. I can understand why DeBoer would not want to go to that situation. Yeah. With there being an investigation and all that stuff, that makes sense to me. Even though he was interested. But that makes sense. So now you go and you see, well, what's Dillingham going to do? What does Just Minter do? Is Drinkwitz interest? He's been doing really well at Missouri, and he's had them in line with in the SEC. But it's just where do you go? What do you do? But the timetable still needs to be expedited. We're nearing that 5 to 10 day window that Johnny Bacon mentioned. And I trust him a lot. He doesn't now. He says he's like, I know things, but I'm not like in tune. Like nobody's going to tell me right now that, oh yeah, I know exactly. But he said for sure 5 to 10 days. I trust this guy. We'll see what happens. But outside of that, Trevor, like you said, Michigan's got to get moving. You can't treat this as a traditional job search. I don't know if they're trying to do that or not. We're not insiders either. We don't try to pretend that we don't know shit.
We're going off of all the different types of reports that we like, news agencies that report certain things that are happening. And
all right, folks. Well, Trevor appears has dipped off the net tonight. I'll see what he says here about it. But as we were saying, basically, we don't try to pretend to be anything we're not. We're not insiders. We don't claim that, even though we have a college football show. That doesn't mean we're damn insiders. We just follow the sport. We're very in tune with it. We love it. And we're just cover on, what we see, what we hear, and make our own opinions on it. So, I mean, as for, the Michigan coaching search, where do we go from there? Where do they go? Pate just, was mentioning it on his show. I had it pulled up, just kind of listening. And he had mentioned that this situation between Dillingham and DeBoer is similar, but it's not really. So Dilly seems to maybe still be in play here. We shall see. Outside of that, who knows? I think Jess Minter is definitely a guy that you need to watch out for. I think Jedd Fisch is somebody you definitely have to keep an eye on. And for Michigan fans that are not excited about him, well, because of his win-loss record, look what the guy did building a down Arizona team. Look what he's done in rebuilding the roster from Washington after DeBoer left, and that roster was barren. The amount of starters that were on that team when Jedd Fisch took over was like nothing. So I think what he's building, what he's done, would fit well at Michigan too. He's already been there. He's familiar. And he's got a lot of background through the NFL, all these things. I think he would be a good hire. We mentioned, Drinkwitz being a name that's popped up. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But apparently they have a firm, Michigan has a firm that's looking. I think they're just gauging interest. I think they know who their main guys are. And then outside of that, they'll run with it. They'll let the administration take over. And maybe there's issues, with some of these coaches are worried about, all the things that have gone on at Michigan with the advanced scouting shit. And then of course what just happened with Sharon and then, Ward possibly not being retained, or he is being retained. So to me, obviously that's going to create some tension there. Maybe like some, wondering, is my job safe? If I'm going to move my team or my family across the country, is this a smart thing to do? So that, to me, there's two options here. I trust Johnny Bacon. I mentioned that earlier. He said 5 to 10 days. We're nearing that window. I think it'd be tomorrow would be the 5th day, maybe the 4th. It all blends together. But outside of that, if things start falling apart and these coaches are not buying in, what does Michigan do? Well, what about Pogge on the staff? He's one that everybody seems to love on that staff. All the players love him. I think that's somebody that you could do as a holdover, a 1-year thing. Hey, we're going to hire you and see how this thing goes. The players love you. The team loves you. You did well in the games that you did coach for Michigan this year while Sharon was suspended. So, I mean, there's things there that I could see that happening. I could see that being, hey, we have a fallback. We have a safe plan. And then next year, after any drama might be sorted out with the administration, with the president, with whatever, then maybe they make a step. I think that's a worst case scenario. But even then, it may not be a horrible situation for just one season. But I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic about things. I'm usually not a glass half empty type guy, especially when it comes to this stuff in college football in general. All right, so we mentioned that. I want to hear what you guys have to think in the comments. Who's Michigan going after? Who do you think they get? Was DeBoer a pipe bomb dream like Buckeyes fans and everybody else is saying? I don't think that's the case. I really do think there's some mutual wanting there, but in the end, he went to Alabama. Alabama's a top 3 job. So what do you expect? You make an offer, see what can happen. The man's in the playoffs. He's got a chance to run for a national championship, but I do think there was some interest there. Regardless, let us know in the comments. All right. Also, what happened this weekend? Obviously, we had the awards show. We had, the Heisman Trophy. We had the Army-Navy game. So there's football going on outside of all this talk about, Sharon Moore going off his fucking rocker and, whatever the hell else happened. So when we look at, the awards show, everybody initially, you're wondering who's going to win the Heisman. And I think it felt pretty clear that it was going to be Mendoza. He had his Heisman moments, against Penn State, against Ohio State. That last throw really was like 3rd and 6, and it really sealed it for me, in my opinion. But otherwise, Julian Sand, to me, right up there. He's got to be number 2 or 3. Jeremiah Love, right in that same top category. I know Pavia was there. There's times in the season where I agree, like this guy, I mean, he is Vandy. He's carrying the team offensively. But again, in the biggest games, he didn't put enough out there to make that statement, to carry the team over the edge. In Indiana, Mendoza did that. Sayan did that. So that's one where I was like, Pavia's not winning this. I know he's gone off on social media. He was out clubbing last night, had to hold up a sign that's, said fuck Indiana and all these things. I get his personality. To me, now you're just coming off as a douchebag, bro. Let it go. It's time to go to Indeed. You're not getting a gig in the NFL, I don't think. And if you do, God be with you. But I just don't see it with him. But for the rest of them, I think it belongs to Mendoza. I'm really happy for him in Indiana. I think that's incredible this year that they've had. Now go win a national title. That would be incredible. I'm rooting for that. And I'm not shying away from that. I want to see Texas Tech. I want to see won the Group 5, JMU or Tulane. That'd be incredible. Indiana, what a story though. And if you say that's a homer in me as a Michigan fan, sure, whatever. I don't care. I'd love to see it. But on the other side of it, I'm going to go to bat for Jeremiah Smith for losing the Biletnikoff. And now that's nothing to take away from Mekhi Lemon. That dude is a beast. He's a fantastic wide receiver. And I know that he had, more receptions, yard, whatever. It does not matter. Jeremiah Smith is such a boss on the outside. He demands double teams, multiple coverages, really having to take a hold of him. He opens up room for his other supporting cast. Carnell Tate obviously can do things on his own, but when you have Jeremiah Smith outside of you, I mean, that helps you out so much. So to me, I still would have gone with Jeremiah Smith as Biletnikoff. So yeah, there's a homer in me, right? No, it's called being objective. It's just how it is. But I think he deserved it. Outside of that, I mean, I thought was fine with most of these awards, and who got what. But when I look at Jacob Rodriguez, I wish he would have been in the Heisman race. I think he should have been up there. Just an impressive talent, but he got his awards. He won the Butkus, the Nagurski Trophy. Like, those are all not things to shy away at or just to laugh at. Looking at some of the other ones, Drew Messmaker, he won the Burlsworth Award. Benerick again went to Jacob Rodriguez. The Ray Guy, went to Thorson from Georgia. Best interior lineman went to Fano from Utah. He was one that we pointed out in the preseason as somebody you need to really watch for on that Utah squad as an anchor, and somebody that's just really going to help carry this team. And they had a great season. Oklahoma kicker, Tate Sandel won the Lou Groza. Remington went to Logan Jones from Iowa. So you're looking at all these awards, and it's kind of like, okay, Jim Thorpe goes to Caleb Downs. We know that Signetti's going to win the coach of the year, getting Indiana to 12-0. So it's just some of those things. In Stowers, he was a great tight end. Somebody at least won an award at Vandy. But outside of that, guys, let us know what you think about the Heisman. Did they deserve it? I'm pretty sure you would all agree with that. If you don't, let us know in the comments why the hell you think Mendoza did not deserve it. A couple of other things we're going to hit tonight. Again, Trevor mentioned that his power is out, and there's no chance of it coming back. So I'm just going to roll solo, keep running it, and call it an early night here. Washington, Boise State, they played this weekend. And, again, with the rumors that Jed Fish was, is possibly taking the Michigan job, he's a candidate. Everybody's wondering, is Boise going to sneak up on him, put him down? No. Listen, Washington went out and straight dominated. Damon Williams had a 4-touchdown game. Joan Coleman, he had a really nice game, 85 yards on the ground. Boston is a receiver that I really like. He went off. And the defense was just too much for Boise. There's nothing that they could do there. So, I mean, we picked Washington, and it came out true. The other one, though, Army-Navy game, America's game, you've got to mention it. And it was a hell of a game right down to the wire. And I was like, oh, man, Army, they should have had it. But Horvath in the end, that was a 4th down touchdown pass. I mean, just electric. And then the stand that Navy made at midfield at the end of that game, forcing, the game to flip back to their side. They run out the clock. It's over. Just a great game. There's conversation about, well, the playoffs need to start on that Army-Navy game. I've seen that today. And to me, that how does that make any sense? What if Army and Navy qualify for it? What are you going to do? You're just going to kick them out? I already don't like how it's set up, because this is still an active game in the, in the rankings and all that stuff. But it's after the conference championships are done. That makes no sense to me. Our Navy could have been in the playoff with the conference championship, and then they lose to Army, and I don't care. Listen, I'm myself military, Trevor's military. We're not West Pointers, but still, you guys, you can have a little leeway. I know it's America's game. Let's use a little common sense, though. This doesn't make sense. I think the Army or the college football schedule should change, or Army-Navy needs to change a little bit. I don't care if it's the first week 0. I know the academy grads will get angry at that. How dare you? I don't care. To me, it just makes sense. Have that as a week 0 game, the premier game of that week. Make it this big ass, patriotic event the whole week leading up to Army-Navy. Or again, bump it up, sometime a week prior. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do this to where it's not impacting the playoffs. And then you get rid of that. Then you can move the playoffs up, and then we're not having a national title game on January 20th. But regardless, let's move on. Great game, though. We picked Navy. I hate seeing Army lose, but it felt like Navy's going to get this one, and it was a lot closer than I was expecting. All right, let's move on and see. Well, what the hell else? Well, we were going to do a game. Trevor and I, we were going to do a little game of like yay and nay on this one about the coaching, staff and the options for Michigan. But obviously that's kind of gone awry with Trevor's internet going down. Just checking one more time to see if he's back on air. But you know what? I'll give it a shot here. Obviously, yay, Kalen DeBoer would have been yay, but I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. I think it's done. Jed Fish, yeah, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Kenny Dillingham, yes, give him to me. Jesse Minter, give him to me. I like what he's doing in the as a DC. I think he's a damn good coach. And then for him, you go out and hire a good offensive coordinator, keep Chip Lindsey, and see if he's actually not the one that was running the plays. Like everybody's saying, Sharon had too much influence. Other ones, Jeff Brom, I'd take him. I don't know. So yay. Tommy Reese, no, nay there. PJ Fleck, that's like a last ditch effort to me. I think he's a good coach. Something about it. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Drinkwitz, yeah. I mean, look what he's doing in Missouri. Brian Kelly, no. Anybody even saying that is a potential candidate, to me, you just immediately discard anything they're saying. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Trevor and I were going to bounce it, but it is what it is. Guys, we appreciate you watching. Let us know what you think on all of it. The awards, Michigan's situation. Who should they go after? Or are they screwed? Is Michigan done for? So let us know. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you around.